Hello and welcome to Blue Girls Video Podcast. I'm going to be covering dreams documented in March of 2014 and possibly April of 2014. It depends on if I can get it in 30 minutes. So the first one is red hair. This is March. I was in a room with a girl with red hair. I was talking about giving my notice. 14, December 1st. It looks like a hospital room. Brown dog. There was a large open office that had silver of light underneath the door. I think it's a sliver of light underneath the front door. There was someone walking barefooted or on linoleum floor. There is a small brown dog that is in the basement. He likes to cuddle with his owner and greet her by licking her face. Yeah, well, I don't remember this dream. Company. I was at this one house with a group of people. This one guy had a lot of people staying at his place, too many. Then I saw the minister. She didn't say anything to me. Then I mentioned to a friend above about him coming out. So, yeah, another dream that I don't remember too much. At park. I was walking around outside at the park talking to someone on the phone. Sunny day, sticker 358. Oh, this dream. I did wake up as if from a nightmare. Don't remember. Okay, so there, and I've said this before in my dreams, that something close to it. When I lived in the Pacific Northwest, there's this park I used to go to. Not very often, but I would always walk around barefoot. But I think that the person I was talking to on the phone was either a friend of mine or a cousin. And there's 358 again, and that's another name of a title for a dream that I have. So I'm not for sure what that is, if it's an amount or what it is. I think it's some kind of amount for a deposit or rent amount. And so whatever, I woke up from the dream, from nightmare, but I don't remember what the nightmare was about. Okay, no. This woman with short black hair said no. Okay, so the fourth. This woman with long wavy hair is in her house watering plants. She is sitting at her desk and has a flat screen monitor attached to the wall or an iPad. Something about the 4th of March. She has a phone number. My friend is more of a California person than me. I am wanting to go see the band for my birthday. Okay. So yeah, I have a friend he's more of a California person. I'm more of a Pacific Northwest. I would say that the state of Washington I consider my home state, even though I wasn't born there or raised there. But it's laid back, and that's kind of what I prefer. And so I want to go see the band. My favorite band is Heart, so that's who it was. But I eventually did see the band many years later, but that's what the dream was. City and distance. I'm still in March. Okay, 2014. A woman and my brother were having a discussion. He mentioned that some guy was following me a little bit in emails. There was some guy who would watch television all day and then expect someone else to pay the bill. So in order to reduce the cost, the lights in the front room were turned off. I see another city with skyscrapers in the distance. This African American woman thought it was cutting it too close to a deadline, not reliable. Then another woman was going to mail a letter, stated that she was leaving. I mentioned about staying with my aunt for 2 weeks, then at a friend, and then to my place. So I think that the person who was having a discussion was my youngest brother with a woman. And so he kind of sensed that some guy was following me a little bit. I have had issues with that, kind of people getting hold of my phone number, putting whatever photos on, if I look up my name and stuff like that, and some other things as well. I've woken up from nightmares and stuff like that too. So I don't, I remember this dream, but I don't know who the guy was. He was watched TV all day, and then so they turned off the TV, which really doesn't make any sense. Um, so I see skyscrapers in the distance, and it's a city that I've never been to in the dream, and I don't think I've ever been there. But I think it was. I'm not for sure if the skyscrapers were at night or in the morning or during the day. It doesn't say, because I've had both. But either way, it's a city that I've never visited or been to, and I still haven't, because I would remember it from the dream. So yeah, then another woman, I think that was me saying that I was leaving, give my notice so I could stay with my aunt for 2 weeks, and then a friend, and then my place or whatever. One-liner dreams. There was a child that was hanging out with a man playing video games. There was a potluck and people were lined up to fill their plates with food. Someone got some salad. I was sitting with a couple of people. There was an arrow to follow for directions. Sometimes these one-liner dreams, it's like a voice. You know how you kind of hear, sometimes you can hear things in dreams, like just whatever. So, but I don't know if that's the case here. I think it might have just been what I saw in the dream. And sometimes these dreams don't make sense. Sometimes, they could be occurring somewhere else, a different location. I don't know. Hotel. I was walking around with a cousin and stopped at a hotel, planning to pay in cash $38. I walked past this woman and man, 161. I showed some man a receipt. I already had my notice typed and planned to give to landlord. So I don't know what's going on. I was like, whatever. It sounds like I was just going to pay in cash. And I gave my notice, but I don't know why I would, be staying at a hotel. This is March 10th. The 10th is my birthday, so I don't know. So the next dream is ocean. There is a man with dark brown hair and eyes that is driving his car. We went to a place where they have whales, some place that I've never been. I had to get up early to the ocean and was waiting at a bus stop. It was sunny. I am at a messy house with two kids, girls. The cat bowls need to be filled. I thought of stopping by McDonald's and then getting a pop. Yeah, so I think that it was a Pacific Northwest in real life and in the dream. And this didn't occur. There was a time in which I tried to get to part of the West Coast, but then there was like this logging truck. It was like one row that got to there, and this logging truck. And this was on my birthday, by the way, in real life. The logs fell off or something. So like we couldn't even get there. It was kind of a very bizarre birthday. I was going to go to La Push and some other thing. Um, yeah, and I did have to get up early for that to take the bus. I had to take the first bus. Scottish. There's a girl with a strange expression on her face. She has red hair and brown eyes. Scottish. Okay. The driver. I was in this vehicle with a woman driver and it was a sunny day. There was a trailer hooked to the vehicle, and as I looked back to see the license, I thought it was Colorado, but it was CD instead. Huh. The woman was a poor driver, and people who were walking on the side of the road scooted over to move out of her way. Okay, so I don't know why. Oh, CO is Colorado, but CD, I don't know what that's not a state, so I don't know what that's about. Okay, so the next one is going to be manicurist, if I can find it. There you are. Okay. I was sitting down and talking to some guy. A manicurist was working on my nails. I had blue fingernail polish on one finger that was chipping away. I decided on a French manicure. I mentioned to the manicurist how I went to school for manicuring. This is Mannering here, I spelled it wrong, but failed the test by 1 point. Horst even. Okay, yeah. So that was true in real life. I did go to Horst. It's a Veda Institute now. But I decided, okay, so they have esthetician and then manicuring and pedicuring, and then they have, cutting hair, and then they have, all three of them, right? So I thought I would try out the manicuring because I thought, okay, let's see if I like this or not. And it was all right. I'm glad I didn't really go into it. I didn't really love it. It's not like I love nails or anything. But I failed the point. I thought it was by 3 points, but it was by 1 point. And I think I kind of messed up with the part where it's the cleanliness or whatever, the safety or whatever, on keeping everything safe, the things that you use. I'm not for sure. It was so long ago. So anyway, yeah, so that was the dream, the manicurist. Day before. I was somewhere else, and this dream is vague. There was a certain date that I was going to check into a hotel. The day before, I don't remember. Large house. This guy and I were sitting at his long kitchen table. The house had oversized windows, and I got up to pull one of the shades down. Then no one could see me. I asked this guy if I could store some of my items in his garage or a small room. I had a dream about this guy before. Then people were moving around a lot in this open room. I was thinking about possibly relocating to a different area in Florida. Yeah, well, I don't remember this dream. Sometimes it happens when you've had dreams for 10 to 12 years. Since May 4th, 2010, I think so. Okay, so real name. There was an Asian guy, someone asked him his name, and so he told the person, but it wasn't his real name. Okay, the nightmare. I woke up screaming from a nightmare that I do not remember. I was cuddling with two fluffy cats in my bed. I couldn't have thought of leaving. I couldn't have thought of leaving without my cats because I love them. Okay, so that's happened a couple times. I wake up screaming, and it's only happened a couple times. But then there's been times in which I've woken up and I sent somebody in the room. I have PTSD. But sometimes it's also a psychic attack. My brother, who kind of he can, he hears from God, and he's even said that, sometimes things like attack me or whatever. But whatever, I just think that I didn't want to leave because of my cats. And I think that in real life I did have two cats. And I love them. I mean, I was very close to my cats. So I don't know why I would think, okay, well, I'm not going to leave without my cats. Because, of course, you can, fly them. Okay, hostel. It only costs $15 to stay at a hostel in Ireland. Okay, well, it's much higher now. But still, it's probably 25, I don't know, 27. It kind of depends. And so that is kind of my wish, if you have, the bucket list. But that's one thing, two places I definitely want to go is Dublin and England, because I am majority English. You can just tell by looking at me, and I do have some Irish in me and some other things, of course. But when I was 20 years old, I would walk around and say, "Oh, I'm Irish, and Irish," to find out that I'm mainly more English. But still, I think my personality, and also my mother's personality, is the Irish. But anyway, okay, the debt. I'm still in March of 2014. This dream was vivid. I was sitting down with two young women. We were discussing apartments and PCA. They mentioned how they lived. They believed in the horoscopes. I asked them if they believed in God. One did not believe and neither did. Then I asked if they ever received a prophetic word from the South. They had not. The song by Quiet Riot was on the radio. Come Feel the Noise. I told one of them that I hadn't had a credit card in over 15 years and that my future was bleak. She mentioned that she had no idea that I was in so much debt. This took place outside in sunny weather. Also, there was a male presence in my room when I woke up a couple of times at night. Okay, so I was just talking about that. And, what is the likelihood of that happening? And then there's a dream. Okay, yeah, I remember this dream being vivid. I don't remember it being outside. I remember them, but whatever, we were discussing apartments and, personal care attendants that I guess that they thought I needed. And they believed in the horoscopes. And I asked them if they believed in God. I guess that one of the girls believed in God and the other one didn't. So I don't really believe in horoscopes. I mean, maybe your personality, this and that, stuff like that, your characteristics, but I don't, you read it every day or once a month. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Maybe there is, but I mentioned how I received a prophetic word, and prophetic word is supposed to be from God, who's ever given you the prophetic word, and the South, and I've had that done maybe once or twice, and they've never had that. So I think, okay, so the Come Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot, I think that was about, because I'm oversensitive to noise with the PTSD in real life, and I just, because of a heart condition, I shouldn't be around, like a subway, like in right by the house, like in, what is that one I'm thinking? I can't think of the name of the movie. But anyway, it's in Chicago, that movie. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. The Blues Brothers, right? when they a subway goes by, and I don't know what happens exactly, but their house falls apart or whatever. I don't. So yeah, too much noise is not good. And so the woman said that she had no idea it wasn't in so much, so she must have had my credit report. And yeah, that's the student loans. And yeah, so there was a male presence in the room, which that's kind of harassment and there was probably some, I don't know who it was, but okay, so the next one is, okay, I'm almost done, I think, with the debt. Oh, 4. This is the last one for March. 4 dash. I was walking around an area that doesn't look familiar to me at all. So I see a store with ham-y pizza. I see a businessman, possibly a manager in a store, 4 dash, a couple of times and twice a week. There is some woman who is helping me with this yellow ceramic thing, large white envelope. Okay, so now I'm in April 2014, and it's titled Spanish Woman. I was sitting down with this young woman. She mentioned that someone said I agreed to pay $100, which I did not. This woman was asking me advice concerning a friend or boyfriend and went out in the evening. There were wood chips in the door. It was cold outside and everyone was wearing coats except me. It wasn't that cold anyway. I called the phone number and a Spanish woman answered the phone. I hung up on her. I forgot to bring something and I told myself that I should have just stayed at home. Yeah, I remember this. I don't know what was going on in this situation, but someone said that I agreed to pay $100 and I didn't agree to it. That's what I remember about this dream. Yeah, so this had to be in the Midwest because if people are wearing coats. Yeah, okay, so the next one is white girl and Asian guy. Well, I don't know, this might, okay. I was with a white girl with blonde hair and Asian guy. She was from Walker, Florida. It isn't such a place, but Florida. I told her that I lived in Panama City for 6 months. I gave her the wrong phone number, couldn't remember something. I asked the Asian guy if he wanted my phone number, and I thought he wouldn't call anyway. I was going to sign something. Yeah, so, like, if I have dreams of the white girl, usually, or the blonde, or whatever, Caucasian, she usually has blonde hair or dark hair. She was from Walker, Florida. There is no place like that. So, I'm not for sure what it means. And I did like live in Panama City for 6 months. That is correct. To choose. I was riding around with my cousins. If they had to choose, they both would live in California and not Florida. These two young women were sharing a room together. If one of the roommates' father didn't pay for some bill that she was planning to go back to Pennsylvania, some girl read a little bit of my journal without my permission. It could be something else. I can either choose or not choose the next situation. Most of the dreams do not occur or do not come true. Then I was at a store and carrying around a large black cat and no one noticed. I was planning to get a nightgown item, but the line was too long, so I left the store. Okay. Yeah, so I was like, I remember in the dream asking my cousins if they had to choose between California and Florida, they would definitely choose California. Me, on the other hand, I would choose Florida. Because I have visited California a couple of times, and it's just really not my cup of tea. It's too, well, advanced out there. And then Florida, I like it because of the ocean and stuff like that, but it's just a different vibe. There's older people there. And I just like it better. And I have been to Los Angeles. This is 2014. I hadn't been there that, but it was actually Hollywood. San Diego, I've been there, and I've been to San Francisco. And most of this occurred after this dream, 2014. So yeah, so one of the roommates, whatever, I guess if her father didn't pay some bill that she would have to go back to Pennsylvania. And I don't know who the girl was who read my journal without my permission. And I can choose or not choose the next situation. That is true. And most of these dreams don't come true. I mean, I've been, years and I mean, I think that things that are going on in the background, but a lot of it is just trying to dodge all this bad stuff that could happen. And, they could say, then you can get blessed, but that usually doesn't happen. There's always something that happens to steal the blessing. Most of the time, anyway. I don't want to say all the time. So whatever, a large black cat and no one noticed, that's, to me a black cat means bad luck. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but I think for me it is in the dream. Favor. This dream, again, was vague. There is some woman who I have favor with and looks a little bit like a high school friend, long hair. Then my sister-in-law is sitting down at a table. April Fool's Day. I'm in April 2014. The same woman with long hair was in my dream again. I got to a certain destination, a Spanish or Mexican name city, and would proceed from there. There was something that was sky high, 4,200. I wanted to know fares for Colorado or California. Not sure. Were two rooms, and a sickly woman moved in next door, kind of sneaked in a little bit without acknowledgement. Something about Lower Alabama and a twin bed. A couple of people, a man and a woman, were sitting in a room and was tired. So I offered her to go lie down in the bedroom. Across the street was a pop machine. Yeah, there was something that was sky high. I don't know what it was, but 4,200 is quite high. I wanted to know the fares for Colorado or California, I think. So whatever, a sickly woman, they kind of sneaked her in next door to me. Okay, so the next one is funeral. Okay, a couple of African American guys knocked on the office door. They wanted to wait in the office, but a woman didn't want to wait. There's something about a funeral and mentioned my dad died a long time ago. Someone said, "Oh, so that's why you're acting like that." I remember this too. It was like an apartment complex, and some African American guys were knocking on the door of the office room. I don't know why they were discussing the funeral or what was going on with them, but they wanted to talk to somebody in the office. And I don't know why I would say, oh, my dad died a long time ago. Because my mom died like a couple years later, so I guess, well, duh, of course, it must have been their dad. But that's the dream. Okay, Haley Path. I remember this one. The same woman from the fourth was in the dream again. I was sitting on a bus next to an African American woman with a nice red purse. I didn't know where I was moving or possibly the location of my new job. I hadn't worked in 4 years, actually, it's been 3 years, and thought perhaps I could get loans released in possibly 5 years of not working at all. I went to a counter with a money order and was frustrated. I didn't know why this woman chose not to do something a certain way. So I thought of treating my mom out to eat. I then had a bike that I locked up at a store. Then I was riding it on a hilly path and rode straight up at a 90-degree angle and then back down. Yeah, I didn't know where I was moving. It says I didn't work in 3 years. And I went to a store with my mom. I think the store was possibly Walmart or Target, I'm sure. But I remember doing that in the dream. I think I had my bike with me. I'm not sure. I was going to get a bike. Let's see here. Yeah, I then had a bike that I locked up at the store. Yeah, but I was with my mom when I went out there. We went together, and I think it was, like I said, it was Target or Walmart. I'm not sure. I think it was Target. Um, but I didn't recognize the area, but I remember that. Um, so whatever, I thought I could get my loans released after 5 years. I'm not for sure why I would think that. Well, basically, you have to be, terminally ill to get those released. And I think it might be if you think you're gonna, pass away in 5 years, but you have to get like a doctor's note for that. That's the only way that I know of how to get out of the student loans, or not really out of them, but if you can't pay them, and you're disabled, and so the only way for anybody to get out of it, or is if you're terminally ill. Except for now they have this new um, thing with Biden, which I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so the next one is card. Alrighty, well, this is going to have to be the last one. There were several signatures on a card. Drugs, medication, different amounts they can charge you. 30. A young woman with blonde hair.